Every year we see hundreds of devices announced at CES, which is the biggest tech conference in the world. However, there are also a number of announcements that come out from all of our favorite companies, and I find those to be more relevant and more impactful to those of us who are trying to build a smart home. Now, this year's CES provided some of the most impactful announcements I've seen in years. And I'll give you one of my favorite examples that affect those of you who use Google Home. LG went down the Google Home rabbit hole in a big way. Their new televisions will be Matter controllers, LG ThinQ device controllers, of course, but more surprisingly, new LG televisions will be able to control Google products and all of your Google Home devices right from the television or the ThinQ app. And if that wasn't enough Google for you, their new TVs will have Chromecast built in too. I hope that's a great example of what's to come in our video as I walk through the biggest announcements that will change your smart home in 2024. Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and my mission is to help you save time and money as you go on your journey to live smarter. So if you like that idea, hit the subscribe button now as we work through some more announcements. Now, LG wasn't the only one to offer up a new interface for controlling your smart home on a television. Samsung did the same thing, and actually, if you haven't seen either of Samsung or LG's transparent TVs, they're a sight to see. You could even buy one from LG this year. Now, it could be even more exciting to use those new TVs with these new interfaces. Samsung's interface is going to be more tied to having Galaxy phones and systems like Samsung SmartThings, but they've improved the interface in two big ways. Their new televisions will bring up this kind of a pop-up, and you can even have it happen when you approach the TV. Within that new pop-up are a number of sections that relate to your home and your life. And they've even included their map view feature, which allows you to build a map of your home with all of your smart devices contained within Samsung SmartThings, and then you can control everything from your TV. Oh, and one other thing Samsung unveiled a couple days before CES was Tesla integration, but not just with their cars for charging reasons, but with the Powerwall and the whole solar systems. That should really kick off SmartThings energy in your home, as long as you have Tesla gear. Govee has been pushing the boundaries of what smart lighting looks like and how it performs for a number of years now, but they announced a number of new products coming this year, including the Floor Lamp Pro, which will have a Bluetooth speaker on it. But they're also announcing a new 8K version of the AI gaming sync box, which was one of my favorite products last year, because not only would it mirror the colors in your games, but it adds in specialized event-based effects. So if you die as much as I do, you get to see it visually. They'll be bringing more games to that library this year, and while I can't announce them here, there's another feature that they are announcing that I think gives us some insight into the future of smart lighting. That is their new AI effect engine. Not only does Govee have a ton of existing effects, but now you can input text, voice, or even images. So you can ask for a Spider-Man-like effect, for example. Or how about an effect for a romance scene in a Spider-Man movie? Or maybe even better, upside down kiss Spider-Man movie scene, and then maybe Kirsten Dunst just shows up. Now that sounds like you're gonna need to buy a bunch of new lights, right? But actually Govee has said they're bringing that feature to a lot of their existing products. It's a big bonus for those of you who have been following this company for a while. It was also really interesting to see some of the advancements on robot vacuums. The new Roborock S8 Max V Ultra, which, given that name, is a clear sign that companies have to quit building out extra adjectives just to extend the features of a product line. Anyways, they added a little extension arm, which will help it get into corners. And they've also added a voice assistant. This is something that Ecovacs did with the model I have in my home, and I have to say that it's nice to just be able to ask your robot vacuum to go clean. Now, DreamBot's X30 Ultra is a new version in their lineup, and it has a little feature that solves one of the most annoying parts of robot vacuums. That is that you get hair and stuff tangled up in the roller bar. And this one comes with the ability to cut those out. Door locks are also a place where companies are still trying to find new ways for you to access your home that are more convenient than pulling out your smartphone. Now, Philips has released a palm reading smart lock, which I assume is different than those people you go and pay money to and they tell you your future, but seriously, it'll read your palm and the veins as well, and it'll let you into your home. Maybe even more impressive is the fact that Lockly has given us details about the Visage. Now, that's a lock with facial recognition, and that'll be a very interesting one to see implemented in the real world. I don't know that I'm comfortable with facial recognition on the lock on my home just yet, but it's interesting that a company's coming out and trying it. Now, TP-Link is coming in a big way in the smart camera market. They've given us details on a brand new door lock with a video doorbell on it. The specs seem pretty good, and there's a lot of different ways to open up this door lock. There is a HomeKit compatible version of this, and that means Apple HomeKit Secure Video and Apple HomeKey. And I brought out this camera from Tapo. They also released a base, and that base looks a lot like the model that Eufy took in the smart home space. It's going to store your footage and act as a security hub for a lot of your cameras and maybe some other devices from TP-Link. If I told you that a home hardware store in the US was about to become a pretty major player in the smart home space, you might call me crazy. But today, the Home Depot, through their many in-house brands, has over 150 products that can connect to your home's Wi-Fi and work with their Hubspace app. In fact, Home Depot launched an incredible array of new products, and they're not all your everyday smart devices. They are launching a thermostat, a bathroom fan, and a smart security system. They also have a smart hose timer and a smart freezer. They all will have compatibility with Amazon and Google's voice assistants as well. But when you look at this picture, you're gonna be pretty surprised by everything or all the brands that work with that app. So this is one to watch, and I think it'll start bringing down prices for some basic smart gear real quick. At this point, you've probably heard of the Matter standard, which is trying to make it easy for all of us to purchase products with the logo on it and then connect them to whatever system we'd like. There are 17 different device types today, and actually there's a few more that will work with the Matter standard. But one of the craziest announcements this year is that Amazon is going to support the Matter standard for streaming. That's right, their Fire TVs are going to be able to use a newer part of the standard to stream through either iOS or Android devices. This is going to start on an app-by-app basis, but in a few months, you're going to have a new way to stream to your Fire TVs. The other exciting announcement from Amazon is that they have been letting their AI voice assistant, called Bedrock at this time, out of the bag. Not only did we see announcements with BMW and Siemens that involved Bedrock, but we also saw some releases within the developer community of little apps, or what we would previously have called skills. And those are being developed in conjunction with Bedrock. So the new AI-based voice assistant is coming, and it's coming fast. Now, speaking of AI-based voice assistants, I went out and immediately purchased what was called Rabbit R1. This is a new mobile computing device, and it's based on large language models and what they call large action models. The difference between this and something like ChatGPT and other AI voice assistants is that it can be trained to take actions for you. And there's actually a lot of actions that it can take right out of the box. So I went and purchased one immediately, and we'll bring you a demo of that as soon as I can. Apple never fully attends CES, and I would say that's a bit of a mistake. They still always find a way to make an announcement that makes news during the CES event. So turn your attention to Apple and their Vision Pro product, which will be released on February 2nd in the US and comes in at $3,500 US. And for those of us who need a little prescriptive help with our eyes, you can get some lenses popped in there for $150. But Apple's Vision Pro product is just a big name in a sea of products that will give us AR and access to voice assistants in our home and on our face. I saw a wild looking product that you could rent for $200 a month that was essentially a face with ChatGPT on it, and we even saw some glasses that had that. But in this space of AR and glasses, I would say that the X-Real Air Ultra 2 glasses are the ones to kind of watch for. This company is just getting it out to developers, but the pricing isn't crazy, and if they can improve a little bit of the look and feel of the glasses themselves, they could have a real AR product that a lot of us might want. But there's a list of smart home companies that you guys will know and love, and they had a number of announcements that improve their platforms and existing products. The first one is Atham, who have sent out 2 updates for your Homey Pro hub. This is the one that I've shown on the channel a few times and the one I'm gonna rebuild my smart home with. It now has Matter over Thread enabled on it. And the company has also enabled control of air conditioning units with the IR blaster located on the hub. Those are 2 big updates for people using it today. Now, for those of you using the Aqara app and some of their hubs and products, you're gonna wanna look at the new and upcoming M3 hub. It's not that it contains technology that's really different than the M2, which I've been showing for a little while on the channel, but the really interesting thing is that Aqara has stated they will now, through that hub, allow Matter products from other manufacturers to come into their app. With Aqara's automation engine being so strong and the fact that their M3 hub is capable of local home automation, this becomes a really strong option for a lot of you building smart homes. One of the things that always happens at CES is some of the standards organizations come out with their own announcements, and I really love this part of the conference personally because it means that the standards companies are part of this presence. I think that's required to get a lot of this technology right. I'll get off my soapbox, but the fact is the Wi-Fi allowance is now finally certifying the first Wi-Fi 7 devices. And we've seen a number of routers and mesh systems come out with Wi-Fi 7 on it, but those will have to be fully certified, and now there's a number of models that are ready to go. So you have to watch for some of those older systems to get that certification on it before you buy them. Now, the other announcement is from the Thread group, who might have just fixed Matter. Now, one of the biggest problems with Matter right now is when you try to use a Matter over Thread product. If you don't know, Thread is a low power and low bandwidth mesh network, and that means it can be used with battery-powered sensors as well as a lot of other smart products in your home. It also keeps things off of your home's Wi-Fi, so it's great to use those products whenever you can. But when you use a Matter over Thread product today, often it will be disconnected if you try to control it with, let's say, more than one system. All of the different Thread border routers that you have in your home, which is a lot like your Wi-Fi router, okay? That's what a Thread border router is. These are setting up their own network. So Google Nest Hub or Google Nest products have their own network. And your Era Wi-Fi system, it has its own. Apple's creating its own. Samsung SmartThings is creating its own network. So is Amazon. But the Thread group announced that there will be credential sharing, and this will allow companies to create a single Thread network in your home and to have them work together. This isn't an immediate thing, and all the companies have to roll out their own Thread updates. And then they have to figure out how they're going to bring that network down to just one from the many you have in your home right now. So there's more work to do, but that's a major announcement. I'll keep watching that one to see when we can start to use Matter over Thread products reliably in our smart homes. Otherwise, you're going to want to check out one of our 2 videos related to CES and the smart home industry's announcements. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, live smart.